This conference will now be recorded.
So today's topic would be analyzing discrete data. So when do you go for linear regression is a simple question. When do we go for linear regression is when our output variable is continuous in nature, we go for linear regression. Now today we are going to talk about when your output is discrete in nature. You want to identify whether it is going to rain or not rain today. Whether an employee is going to get promoted or not promoted, whether a person is going to get a disease or not, whether a person or a student is going to pass or fail, like this. So if your output variable is discrete in nature, then we are going for implementation of a technique called as logistic regression. Logistic regression, and this logistic regression is also called as classification algorithm. Write down as and now I'm explaining you classification algorithm. And this classification algorithm, why it is called as classification algorithm? Because you are classifying whether yes or no, true or false, pass or fail, success or failure, like this, defective or non-defective, present or absent, whatever it is. So that is the reason it is called as your classification algorithm. Clear for everyone? If your output variable is discrete in nature, then you are going to implement a technique called as logistic regression, or it is also called as classification algorithm. Clear for everyone? Yes. Now the logistic regression here, the logistic regression model predicts the probability. Here you will not get your output as yes or no, true or false. You will not get in this way. If you run your algorithm, you are going to get a probability. Logistic regression model predicts the probability associated with each dependent variable category. For example, consider that this is your students data and this is your results. This is the results like pass, fail, pass, 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 fail. Let me just take some of your names only. Bharat, Lahari, Megha, Satish, Ram, and one more person, Manju, for example. So if I'm writing student names here and their result is whether they are pass or fail. So if you implement with respect to logistic regression, it will predict the probability. Means it will not tell you whether they are going to pass or fail. It will give you the answers like this: 0.81, 0.56, 0.25, 0.35, 0.51, like this. So what does this indicate is 0.81 means what? It is 81% chance that Bharat is going to pass with each dependent variable category. So here what is the dependent variable categories? We have either pass or fail. So here it says that 56% chance that Lahari is going to fail in exam. Here it is 25% chance that Megha is going to pass in exam. 35% chance that Satish is going to pass in exam. So it will predict the probability associated with each dependent variable category. So that is how it works when it comes to your logistic regression. It will not give you answer as pass or fail, true or false, whether it is going to rain or no. No, it will not directly give you the answer. It will give you the probability of whether a student is going to pass or fail, whether an employee is going to get promoted or not promoted. Now let us try to understand in depth how does this work out in your real time. So how does it do this is it finds a linear relationship between independent variables. Independent variables are nothing but your input variables and a link function of this probabilities, and the link function is nothing but your logit function. That is your logistic regression. You can call it as logit function. So let me take an example of this particular picture. So let me just take one notepad here. Manju, did you check with Rakesh?
Yogesh, I checked, but he didn't pick the call.
Okay,
I'll
fine.
try once again.
Sure, no problem. So this is your X, this is your Y, output variable, this one, and this is your input variable. So your X variable is, let me take an example of number of hours you study. You study for 2 hours, you study for 2.5 hours, you study for 3 hours, 3.2 hours, 1.5 hours, 1 hour, you study for 30 minutes, you study for 3 hours, like this. So your output is like this: pass, 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 fail, pass, pass, fail, fail. For example, I've written like this. So I want to plot this to on your x-axis, and that is your x and y axis. So in order to identify the linear relationship. So your output is what?
Pass
Why?
or fail.
Yes, x or pass or fail. So your input variables are what? It starts from 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, 4.5 hours, 5 hours. Let me take up to 5 hours. So your output is only, what will be the probability values? What are the probability value can take? Always a probability can take between 0 to 1, right? 0 to 100%, right?
0 to 1. 0 to 1.
So I'll start from 0. I'll go for 10%, 20%, 30, 50, 70, 80, and 100%. 100%. So this is your percentage. Okay. Now, if a person studies for 2 hours, is going to pass. For example, after building your logistic regression, you are going to get as your probability, because your logistic regression model always predicts the probability. So it might get like this: 0.8, 0.6, 0.5, or whatever it is, So it will say that, okay, if you study for 30 minutes, the chances of you passing is very less. Obviously, right? Very less, 5% or 2% chance. So if you study for 2 hours, 10% chance. If you study for 3 hours, 35% chance. If you study for 4 hours, around 60% chance. If you study for 5 hours, 70%. So if you study for 10 hours, probably your curve might look like this. So your curve will look like this. So I'm going to rub this. So your curve look like this. So always your curve looks like this. It means that 0%, 0 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, let me put 3 hours, let me put 4 hours, let me put 5 hours. So this is your 100%. This is your 100, 80, 70, 50, 0%. No problem, Manjunath. Thank you. Thanks for confirmation, Manju. So see here. So if a student is studying for 5 hours a day, what is the probability of pass with respect to this chart?
Almost 100%. 100%.
Almost 100%. It is not almost 100%, it is 100% only, right? It is 100% only. So if you study for 6 hours,
100% only.
100% only.
100.
So if you studies for 10 hours,
Same is 100.
same. Will it
100.
become 200%?
Okay.
No.
No, right? So even though you study for 10% or 5 hours or 10 hours or 8 hours or 7 hours, once it reaches 100% probability, it will never go beyond 100%. Beyond 100%. So consider that you are studying for 30 minutes a day. What is the probability of you passing? Let me put it as 5%. So if you are studying for 30 minutes a day, the chances of you passing exam is just 5%. So if you study for 1 hour, 10%. If you study for 1.5 hours, 25%. If you study for 2 hours, it is 40%. If you study for 3 hours, it is 60%. Like this. So always your probability value stands between 0 to 100% as the curve looks like this. As the curve looks like this, as it is in the shape of S, it is called as sigmoid curve. Because here it can be less than 0% also. If you are studying for 10 minutes, 0%, 12 minutes, 0%, 13 minutes, 0%, 15 minutes 0%. If you until and unless if you are studying less than 30 minutes, the probability will be 0%. And once you cross your minimum 5 hours a day study, again it will stand at 100%, 100% only. So this particular curve, as it looks like the shape of S, as it looks like this, you can say that it is called as your sigmoid curve. Write down this sigmoid curve. So I'm going to give you one more simple example. So consider your salary. Salary is on your x-axis. Salary is on your x-axis. So consider that you're going to get 10,000 rupees salary, 20,000 rupees, 30k, 50k, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 5 lakh rupees per month. I'm talking about per month salary. And this is your chances of getting, probability of getting loan. 10%, 30%, 50%, 70, 80, 100%. 100%. This is 0%. So consider that if you are getting 10,000 rupees salary per month, what is the probability of getting home loan?
Very less.
Very less. Very
5%,
less means,
maybe.
tell me. So if you are getting, probably if you are getting just 10,000 rupees salary, no one will get you home loan, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So there is 0% chance that 0% chance that if you're getting 10,000 rupees salary, you'll be getting home loan. So your curve starts here. 12,000 rupees, 15,000, 20,000, until that point, it will be slightly like this only. So if you're getting 30,000 rupees salary per month, can we expect around 10 to 20% of home loan, chances of getting home loan?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
like this. So if you're getting 50,000 rupees per month,
30%.
probability
50%.
increases. Probability keeps on increases. So once you are getting 2 lakh rupees per month, what is the eligibility of you getting home loan?
100%.
100%. If you're getting 3 lakhs,
Same 100%.
same.
100%.
So if you keep on increasing also, until and unless, if whether it is 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, you'll be eligible to get 100% home loan. So as the curve starts from 0% to 100%, so it is in the shape of S, it is called as your sigmoid curve. It will not give you the answer whether a person is going to get a loan or no loan. It will tell you the probability of person getting home loan. Probability of person getting home loan. Clear? See, probability of passing exam versus hours of studying. As I've written 1 hour, 1.15, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.2, like this, you can see here. So this is your probability of passing exam is between 0 to 100%. As the curve touches 100%, it will become stagnant, and until and unless whether you study for 1 minute, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it will be 0 itself. It will be 0. So this is what your logistic regression works in this manner. Now, coming to next topic, under logistic regression model, we have two types. One is called as your simple logistic regression. First one is simple logistic regression. Second one is multiple logistic regression. How many types of simple linear regression we have? Sorry, linear regression we have?
2 types.
2.
Two types. That is also
Simple and
Simple.
multiple.
simple and multiple. Here also we have simple logistic regression and multiple logistic regression. So the logistic regression with one predictor variable. So one predictor variable in the sense one input variable is called as simple logistic regression. Simple logistic regression. If you're having more than one input variable, that is in multiple predictor variables, that is called as your multiple logistic regression. Multiple logistic regression. Write down that sigmoid curve and your previous slide, whatever I have just noted. Is it done?
Yeah.
Okay. Omega, it is not only 2, it is greater than 1. If you are telling with respect to multiple logistic regression, if it is greater than 1, whether it is 2, 10, 15, 20, whatever it is multiple logistic regression.
Yogesh,
Yes.
what for multiple regression it is similar to the multiple same in the linear regression. The input will be discrete and continuous.
Yes, here also it is same. Only you will be having output with respect to your linear regression output is continuous. When it comes to logistic regression, it is discrete. That's it. So let us try to understand with respect to simple example. See, I'm not going to implement simple logistic regression. I am going to explain with respect to the slides itself, but I'm going to implement multiple logistic regression in your R and Python. So I'm going to give you one data set for simple logistic regression. Do your research and analysis and submit me these things. So simple logistic regression, as simple it is having only one output and one input. So it is nothing but your x1. So can somebody tell me what is the equation of regression? Manjunath, can you tell me what is equation of regression? Manju?
Yeah, yes. Just a minute. It is y is equal to beta naught plus
Yes.
beta 1 of x1 plus beta 2 into x2.
Fine, whatever it is. So let me stop at this point. So y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus epsilon is nothing but my regression equation. Regression equation. If suppose they ask you what is simple linear regression equation or linear regression equation, you should tell the same. And if they ask you what is regression equation, also you should tell the same thing. When it comes to logistic regression, the simple logistic regression equation is also same. Y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus epsilon. There is no change with respect to your equation. Equation is same as it is. Equation is same as it is your simple linear regression. Simple linear regression. But when it comes to logistic regression and linear regression, difference is these beta naught, beta 1 values are not your original values. These are your log values. These are your log values. So you should convert this log. For example, you get beta naught as 1.5, beta 1 as 3.25. These are not your original beta naught values. These are your log values. You should convert these log values into your original values, and then you should use it in your equation. For example, 1.5, I want to convert this log of 1.5 into original value. I need to take exponential of beta naught, exponential of beta 1. So if I do this, I'm going to get some value. That value is nothing but my original beta naught. That is the only difference when it comes to your simple linear regression equation and logistic regression equation. The equation is same as it is. Y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus epsilon, whereas your beta naught and beta 1 are not your original values. Those are nothing but your log values. So you want to convert these log values into your original values by taking exponential. That is what your original beta naught and beta 1 values will be displayed. Clear?
So we have to use the exponential function in the R.
I'll show you. Yes. Don't worry. As of now, just understand the theory concept. I'm going to explain you when I implement all those things. Yes. So now see this example. For example, x on y is a case of binary outcome. X on y in case of binary outcome means whether it is yes or no, or true or false, or pass or fail, whatever it is. And this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. So for example, if a candidate won or not during the election, don't take this particular picture. It is showing it as 0, 0, 0 0.5, 1, 1.5 like this. So don't worry about this. So for example, if a candidate won or not during the elections, you want to predict. So y is either 0 or 1. 1 means it is the particular candidate won the elections. If it is 0 means
Lost.
you lost the election. So here X stands for the money. X stands for the money spent on the campaign, and Y is nothing but your outcome. Outcome is nothing but your 1 or 0, and your X is nothing but your money spent. So example I gave you, right? So example I gave you some number of hours of study. Here I can put it as 5 CR, 10 CR, 20, 15 CR, 20 CR, 25 CR, 30 CR, 35 CR, and here I can put it from 0 to 1, maximum of 1. So if I'm going to get a curve like this, it says that if a candidate is spending more than 20 crores, then only there is a chance of winning election more than 50%. If he is spending less than 20 crores, so the person is not going to win an election, or the candidate is not going to win an election, because it is less than 50% chance that he is going to win election. It means that he is close to losing an election. Close to losing an election. This is simple example. So let me just try to explain you about your logistic regression, multiple logistic regression. Multiple logistic regression model is quite similar to the multiple linear regression model, only beta coefficients vary. Only beta coefficients vary. As I told you that these beta, so before that, so this is your multiple logistic regression equation. Y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta 3 until beta n xn plus epsilon. You can see it is quite similar to the multiple linear regression model, only beta coefficients vary. This beta naught, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 are nothing but your coefficients. Those are also called as what? Beta naught, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 are also called as what?
Parameters.
Yes, they are also
Parameters
called
of
as
the model.
parameters or estimates
Estimates.
or coefficients. So these are not your original beta naught, beta 1 values. You need to convert this into original values by taking exponential of these coefficients. That is the only difference when it comes to your logistic regression and your linear regression.
Linear
So if you
regression.
take exponential of this beta naught, beta 1, beta 2, that is nothing but your coefficients, you're going to get those values. Those are your original beta naught values for your logistic regression. So yes, any questions?
So basically, we'll be needing the parameters or estimates from the multiple linear regression model.
No. Don't worry. I'm going to show you all those things. It is, you're not going to implement linear regression. You are going to implement logistic regression itself. But the equation is same. The equation is one and the same for MLR and multiple logistic regression. The equation is same. Only this beta naught values are log values. Only this
Okay,
beta naught
we'll
values are,
directly take the exponential
yes.
values of.
You will be taking
Okay,
exponential of beta naught,
okay, got it.
exponential of beta 1 like this.
So that means what are the previous example we did know, Yogesh? That
Which
one
one?
itself we can multiple regression.
Multiple linear regression.
Multiple regression. That one is giving the beta naught and beta 1 is a not original
Direct
value,
values. Yes.
direct values. But in in the
Logistic
logistic, you get
regression,
the log value.
log values. You need to
But
convert that into original values.
so once it convert into original value, it is similar to the linear multiple regression, no?
No. I'll show you. I'll explain you. Don't worry. See, consider that as I explained you, right? Okay, let us come back to your notepad. Students: Bharat, Satish, Imran, Manju, Raju. And results: pass, fail, fail, for example. So if this is your equation, y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus forget about epsilon. So you get a beta naught of 2 and beta 1 of 3. Okay, and this is your x. This is your number of hours they study. 2 hours they study, 3 hours they study, 3.2 hours they study, 2.5 hours, 1.2 hours they study. Beta naught plus beta 1 x1 like this. So beta naught plus beta 1. So what is your beta naught? Suppose you get beta naught as t. Once you implement your logistic regression, 2 if you get, and beta 1 if you get 3, y is equal to beta naught is 2 and beta 1 is 3. And what is your x1 here? 2.
2.
So consider that this is your, you got somewhere around 4. After taking exponential of this, you got 2. And this one you got somewhere around 8 to 8.5. After taking exponential of this, you got 3. For example, consider like this. So 2 plus 3 into 2 is how much? 6.
8.
How much is your y?
8.
Y is equal to 8. But do we have anything with respect to pass or fail? What do you mean by 8?
Y value.
Y value. But y value we are having only, this is your output, right? Pass, pass, fail, pass, fail. But how can I hold this?
It's a probability value.
Okay. So probability value, I told you it will be between 0 to 1. So
0
if
to
you
1.
get 8, what do you mean by that?
It's, below
1.
10. Below 10.
Below 10? No, 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 no. You should not read like that. It is 800%. If it is 1, it is 100%.
Yeah, right. Okay.
If it is 8, 800%. Do we have anything with respect to 800% probability?
No.
No, that is the reason you cannot go for linear regression for these type of case studies. Getting my point? If you're having discrete output, you cannot go with linear regression. So that is the reason you go for logistic regression. If you get 2.5, okay, forget about this. Now it is only pass and fail. Now if I'm based on your height, this is my x. I want to predict your gender. Okay, gender is male or female, 1 or 0. 1, 0, 1, 1. My height is 6.1. Female's height is 5.5 and 6.2, 5.3, 4.9 like this. Okay, so this is your x and this is your y. Suppose if you get a y is equal to 2.5, how do you read this then? Are you 2.5 times male or you 2.5 times female? You cannot read, right? So that is the reason if you're having your output variable in discrete in nature, you cannot go for linear regression. So that is the reason we go for logistic regression. So let me try to explain you still in more depth why we should go for logistic regression and how to solve this. So this is your equation of regression with respect to logistics. Only the beta coefficients vary. These beta coefficients are nothing but your log values. To get original values, you need to take exponential of this beta coefficients. Once you take beta coefficient exponential, that will be your original beta naught, beta 1, beta 2. So after this step, we go with implementation. For example, you get y is equal to 8. For example, I got it as 8.5. Y is equal to 8.5 after doing your previous example. So once you get y is equal to 8.5, you need to calculate your probability. You need to calculate your probability. So your probability part is going to be calculated by using this formula. You need not have to do it manually in your RStudio or Python. It will give the answers, but you should know how does it does at the back end. So logistic regression probability is being calculated based on this formula. So your probability is nothing but e raised to the power of y divided by 1 plus e raised to the power of y. So as I told you, y I got it as 8.5. Keep remembering this. Just remember this, 8.5. So now this E is nothing but real number constant, which is a base of natural log and which is equaling to 2.7183. So it will never change. It is nothing but your real number constant. Real number constant. And y is the response value. Y is the response value is nothing but your output variable from your equation. Y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus epsilon. So this is nothing but your output variable. Y is the response value for an observation. So for example, I kept it as y is equal to 8.5. 8.5. So just take your mobile calculator or Excel, whatever it is, just try to calculate like this. P is equal to E value, you know, it is real number constant. It will never change. It is 2.7183. What is the value if you raise it for 8.5? 2.7183 raised to the power of 8.5. Use your calculator or Excel, whatever it is. Just tell me the sum value. Any idea how much it is?
4914 something.
4914 something. Okay, so 4915.04.
4914.768.
Okay, let me put it as 4914. 4914 is nothing but my e raised to the power of y. So divided by 1 plus e raised to the power of y. E raised to the power of y, you came to know it as 4914. 4914 divided by 4915 is how much? Because it is 1 plus e raised to the power of y. How much is 1 plus e raised to the power of y? It is 4915. How much is 4914 divided by 4915? I think it is 0.999, I guess, right? So 0.999, if you get as 0.999, it says that it is 99.9% probability that this person is going to pass an exam or fail in exam or whatever it is. So if you, even though you get it as y is equal to 8.5, so you are replacing that y value with respect to your probability formula. P is equal to e raised to the power of y and 1 plus e raised to the power of y, where e is a real number constant, which is a base of natural log with respect to 2.7183, and y is nothing but your output variable, that is nothing but your response variable. Clear for everyone? I'm going to give you one assignment in the sense, right now in the class itself, I'm going to give you one business case. I'll give you 3 minutes or 4 minutes of time. You should go through those business case studies and you should tell me. No, Neha, we'll not get the same value for different values. We are going to get different values. For example, so you got it as y is equal to 8.5, right? So you try with respect to y is equal to 3.2. Y is equal to 3.2, you try. So e is nothing but your 2.7183 raised to the power of 3.2 divided by 1 plus 2.7183 raised to the power of 3.2. You're going to get some other values. Let me just try. You're able to see my Excel sheet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 2.7183 is nothing but my e value. I got y as 3.2, for example. So e raised to the power of y, I'm going to calculate here, is equal to, this is e raised to the power of y. Y is this one, divided by 1 plus e raised to the power of y is this much, is equal to 1 plus this much. So I'm going to calculate numerator and denominator in order to calculate your probability, is equal to this divided by this. So how much is the value, Neha? You got it as 96.08%. So there is 96.08% probability that this particular student is going to pass an exam or fail in exam. So just note down this formula as well. Just note down this formula, and always remember your E value is nothing but your real number constant, which is the base of natural log, and your probability formula is this. Is it done? So now coming to this logistic regression. Under logistic regression, we have three methods. So one is your binary, ordinal, and nominal logistic regression. You can call it as binary logistic regression, or you can call it as nominal logistic regression, or you can call it as ordinal logistic regression. Ordinal logistic regression. So with respect to binary logistic regression, your output variables, you will be having two categories like pass or fail, true or false, yes or no, defective or not defective, like this. You'll be having variables with only two options, example, pass or fail, yes or no, etc. You're getting my point. Binary logistic regression is nothing but your output variable will have only two options, that is example are pass or fail, true or false, yes or no, defective or not defective, presence or absence of a disease, like that. So that is called as your binary logistic regression. So if you're having nominal logistic regressions are nothing but variables with no inherent order or ranking sequence. For example, if you're having more than two output variables category, more than two output category variables, for example, you might have like this. You want to predict color. You want to predict color of a car or something. Red color you are having, blue color you are having, green color you are having, and one more like orange color, for example. I'm just taking example. It can be anything. It can be a race, right? You'll be having a race like Asian, Indo, American, Indian, Kenya, whatever it is. You'll be having more than two categories, and which will not have any order, which will never have any order. For example, red can come first, or blue can come first, or green can come first, orange can come first. There is no any order that your red should be first, blue should be second, green should be second, or orange should be third, like this. There is no order. Variables with no inherent order or ranking sequence, that is called as your nominal logistic regression. You want to consider that you want to predict type of a car. You're having a car called as hatchback car, sedan car, and SUV car, and sports car, Type of car: hatchback car, sedan car, or SUV car, or sports car. So with respect to this, you're going to identify type of car. You want to predict type of car. So here you're having more than two categories, and there is no order that your hatchback should be first, or sedan should be first, or SUV should be first. There is no order. That is called as your nominal logistic regression. Nominal logistic regression. So here it can be with respect to examples as I gave, gender, here male, female, or something like transgender. It can be any order. There's nothing rules that male should be first or female should be first or this should be first. Either it can be female, male, or whatever it is, or whatever it is, or race. I gave an example of Asian, Indo-Asian, American, Pakistani, whatever it is. So you don't have any specific order for specifying your output. Okay, the last one is called as your ordinal logistic regression. In your ordinal logistic regression, variables with an ordered series. With an ordered series in the sense, you'll have some natural ordering. For example, if I take an example of your academics, so it will be 10 standard, 12 standard, then your UG, then your PG, then your PhD. So you'll be having some order. You cannot do 12 standard first, and second you cannot go for PhD, and third you cannot come back to your UG, and fourth you cannot do your PG, right? You'll be having some natural ordering, variables with an ordered series. That is called as your ordinal logistic regression. Ordinal logistic ordinal logistic regression. Example, blood group. While writing blood group also they will write A positive, B positive, B negative, or whatever it is, O positive, like this. So that's the reason it is your ordered series. So this is your three methods of your logistic regression. So binary, only two categories, more than two categories, either it can be nominal or ordinal. If it is with respect to no natural ordering, then it is called as nominal. If it is with respect to natural ordering, it is called as your ordinal logistic. Order stands for ordinal. Order stands for ordinal. Now this is your case study. I will give you 3 minutes of maximum of 5 minutes of time. Each and every one should go through this case study and tell me what is the business objective, first thing. And second thing is you should identify what is your X and what is your Y. Input and output you should be able to identify. Take 3 minutes of time from now. 3 to 5 minutes max. Manju, can you explain me the business objective, Manju? Even though if it is wrong, try, Manju. Next,
Yeah.
Mega needs to explain.
Yes, Yogesh.
Yes.
Actually, your business objective is to identify whether it is worth to worth to spend so much time in inspecting each and every product,
Mhm.
whether it is really giving value for the QA department. So this
Okay.
is what the that is to identify, that is the business objective.
Mhm.
And and X and Y, I'm just checking out.
Yeah, check it out. Mega, can you explain me the business objective?
Yes. Being a data scientist, I'll be checking the time spent on the QA department if it is worth spending or finding the errors in each product. Is it worth or not? Something like that.
Okay, fine. So what is your X and Y, Mega? Your
Uh,
objective is correct. Both of Manju and Mega's objective is correct. You should tell me what is X and Y. If you know others, if you know the answer, ping on private chat. Don't ping public on public chat. Tell me what is X, Mega.
time spent on each product.
Yes, that is your X. Fine. What is your Y?
Errors detected.
Yes, errors detected. Correct. Yes, Y is detecting error by QA, whether it is detected as error or not, 0 or 1, and time spent. Based on the time spent, so you need to identify with respect to whether this particular time has been utilized for identifying error in the circuit. So no, Sanjay, your answer is wrong, Sanjay. That is the reason I have mentioned it like that. So your answer is wrong, Sanjay. You cannot have number of observations. What do you mean by number of observations, Sanjay? Obviously, if you open an Excel sheet, if you have one record, you'll get one observation. If you have 500 records, you'll get 500 observations. So use your common sense. Your number of observations will never become your input. Error identification is your output. Your output, and inspection time is nothing but your input. This is your Y. Sorry, this is your X, this is your Y, and this is just for your confusion part. I've kept it like this. Got it, Sanjay? Now I was expecting same answer from Mega and somebody else, but most of them identified correctly. Sanjay, try to understand. Got it? So imagine that you are a data scientist in a manufacturing company. You want to know whether the or not the time spent inspecting each product impacts the quality assurance department's ability to detect error in the products manufactured or not. So you are working in a manufacturing plant. You want to know whether or not the time spent, means one person will be spending 10 minutes, another person will be spending 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it is. If they are spending so much of time, so each product impacts the quality assurance department. If it is your quality assurance team is department is working on this, will this 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 50 minutes, whatever the time they are spending, will it affect the or will it impact the quality assurance department's ability or not? So we need to check it out with respect to that, and this is your data. So error identification is nothing but your output variable, inspection time is nothing but your input variable. Observations of the circuits with errors and determine whether those errors were detected by your quality analyst or not. So I'll show you the data now. I'll show you the data now. Try to understand the data. So this is your data. So you're having how many records in this data?
50,
You're having approximately around 55 records, and you're having, this is nothing but your serial number observations. That's it. Don't worry about, no worries about this. And this is your inspection time in minutes. If one person, first employee is spending 38 minutes, second employee is spending 29, like this. So this is your X, and this is your error detection. S is equal to 1 means it is error is been detected. 0 means no error is been detected. No and S. No. Yes. So if this is your data set, if I'm loading this data set into your R or Python, and if I'm going to implement your logistic regression, as the logistic regression equation is y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus epsilon. So here also I need to pass it as same way. But what is the function to plot your, what is the function to implement your linear regression? What is the function to implement your linear regression? It is LM, right? So you can
LM.
write it as like this: model name, assign it to a variable called as model1. I'm going to write it as LM y tilde operator x. So here I am going to write it in this way: model1, same, only slight verify. Instead of using LM, I'm going to use it as GLM. So GLM is a function. GLM is a function to implement your logistic regression. So GLM stands for, write down this, generalized linear model. Generalized linear model. GLM stands for generalized linear model. So I'm going to write it in this way. Now what is your output variable here? It is error detection. Error detection tilde operator, tilde operator, and x is nothing but your inspection time. I'll write it as IT, inspection time. So, and I'm going to store it in a variable called as model1. So if I implement this line of code, you're going to build your logistic regression by using a function called as GLM. So GLM stands for generalized linear model. Generalized linear model. So now let me just, for example, consider as of now this one. So logistic regression model has been implemented by using a function called as GLM, and your error detection tilde operator, your inspection time. Once you run this and store it in a variable called as M1, you're going to write the next step as summary of your model. So if you write your summary of your model, your logistic regression model output will be displayed, and you get your beta naught. This is nothing but your y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1. So this is your beta 1, this is your x is nothing but your inspection. So this is your beta naught. As I told you that these are not your original values, these are your log values. You need to convert this into exponential values. But as of now, for currently, for your simple logistic regression, try to assume that these are your original beta naught and beta 1 values. This is your beta. Just note down this beta naught and beta 1 values in your book. I'm going to give you some calculations. So that's the reason I'm telling you. Okay, now once you build your model, you are going to get your summary of your model name. If you are going to get your coefficients. As I told you, this as of now, consider this as your final values. So this is your p value. So is this beta naught and beta 1 significant or not significant?
Significant.
Yes, because it is less than 0.05. So here I've written the same sentence. The important thing about the table is p value, it is 0.0, which is less than alpha value 0.05. This indicates that regression coefficients are not zero, and there is significant relationship between the input variable and your, that is nothing but your output variable error detection. Independent means input variable, dependent variable means it is nothing but your output variable, and this is nothing but your coefficients beta naught and beta 1. This is nothing but your p value. So for instance, as of now, consider this as your original beta naught and beta 1, original beta naught and beta 1. But when I implement your logistic regression, I'm going to explain you that part. So this is your logistic beta naught plus beta 1 x1. So because we have only one input variable, this is your simple logistic regression. Simple logistic regression. Now take down your calci. Take down your calci and calculate how much is this part. So replace this x value with 40. Instead of taking it as x, take it as 40 minutes as you are calculating. For 40 minutes, what is the probability of a person identifying error in the circuit with respect to 40 minutes? Calculate this. 0.328827 into 40 is how much? First tell me this part. Next. So that is fine, but I want only this part, Bharat. Just tell me this part.
13.15.
13.15. So how much is minus 9.94645 plus 13.15? Is it 3.206?
Yes, yeah, right.
Yes. So your y
Right.
value is 3.206. So this is not your final answer. So this is just your output y value, because your equation of regression stands for y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus epsilon. So this is just your output value y. So you need to calculate your probability by using a formula called as p is equal to e raised to the power of y 1 plus e raised to the power of y. 1 plus e raised to the power of y. So just replace this value. What is your e value? What is your e value, Bharat?
2.
How much? 2.7183. 2.7183. Just replace the 2.7183 with respect to e value and replace your y value with 3.2066. So what is the answer? Are we getting same answer? Just give a try. Check it out. Is it same as 0.9611? Yes, it is same as it is 0.9611. So it indicates that it is 96.11% is your final answer. This indicates that a probability of 96.11% indicates that the error will be detected if your quality analyst spend 40 minutes of inspection during an observation. During an observation. So like this, if you keep on changing, for example, Lahari spent 40 minutes, Bharat spent 25 minutes, and one more person spent 60 minutes, another person spent 50 minutes, another person spent 18 minutes. So you can identify how much time they are spending, and you can come up with your analysis, what minimum amount of time what a person should spend, and what is the maximum amount of time that person should spend. So let me just go to your next slide. See, this is your compilation of result. logistic regression curve, how it looks. I'm just plotted with respect to understanding part. So this is your inspection time in minutes, and this is nothing but your probability on your y-axis, 0 to 100, 0 to 100%. So you can say that if an quality analyst team employees are spending 20 minutes, what is the probability of identifying error in the circuit? It is close to 10% or something, or whatever it is. If a person is spending 25 minutes, if an employee is spending 25 minutes, like this, 30 minutes, 27 minutes, 30 minutes, like this, 40 minutes is here, 45 minutes. See, tell me, if a person is spending 45 minutes, what is the probability of identifying error in the circuit?
100%.
100%. If it is 35 minutes, see this curve and tell me.
90%.
90%.
35 minutes, right? Okay. And if it is 30 minutes,
40.
40%.
yes. So you can set up your time. Okay, minimum amount of an employee should spend minimum 30 minutes or 40 minutes based on your this thing, and you can build your quality analyst team's efficiency. So this is
But
why
then it will
in
never
your
be 100%, right?
it will never be 100%. The probability, right? I'm telling.
Yeah.
The probability, I'm telling
Probability
that
only.
yes, chances are there, right? In your max subject, you can score 100%, right?
Yeah, but then probability will never be 100% as of the formula that we are using.
Which formula?
E to the power y by 1 plus e to the power y.
So we have used with respect to 40 minutes, right? Increase it to
Yeah.
45 minutes and check it out.
Anyway, the denominator will be greater than no. We are adding 1.
Yes, but I'm telling with respect to the logistic regression curve works in this way. Means you are setting up your this thing, because if you are using 45 minutes also, you might get something like 99.99% or
9999. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
99.99. Yes, that is what.
Okay.
That is what in your reality it will be 99.9999 or something like that.
So Yogesh, I have one doubt.
Yes.
Like in every example, if we consider this simple logistic regression, the x value increases, then the y value increases.
It is not like that. It depends on the data. Now I've just written with respect to your example as time, and your y value is just your probability, right?
Why
Y
is
value
it?
is just your probability.
So I mean, will that not be vice versa, or varying
Some case to case it varies. See, for example, so what is your percentage in 10th standard, Lahari?
yeah, it's 88.80.
88. So what is your percentage, Bharat, in 10th standard? 66. How many hours do you study, Alahari?
Yeah, with respect to 10th standard,
Yes.
6
8
hours.
hours? Oh, 6 hours
Yeah,
per
yeah,
day or
yeah.
per month?
No, like per day.
Per day. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Bharat, boys are always not more than 3 hours, I guess.
Never
Yes,
See, Bharat.
studied
that's
before
correct.
exam. Exam previous day.
Exam previous day. That is
Exam
totally,
previous
yes,
8 hours.
totally 8 hours. Totally 8 hours for 1 year. Who is efficient, Lahari?
Yeah, obviously it's Bharat.
Because you are spending every day 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours, and it is like this. Case to case, it varies. Case to case, it might vary. It is not only that if you are studying for 8 hours a day, it doesn't mean that you have to get 80%. Some people who study for 10 hours a day and they get 50% also. And some people study for 1 hour before before an exam, and they also get 75%. Right? It depends on this.
Okay.
So this is your result sheet. So your inspection time is here and the probability is here. So we calculated for 40 minutes. Here in your data, it was not 40 minutes, it was 41 minutes. So if you are spending 41 minutes to identify error in the circuit, the probability of identifying error is 97.2%.
Yogesh, do we use logistic regression in all type of data analysis, or are we specific when we using logistic or linear?
Obviously, you should be specific. If your output variable is continuous, then only you go for linear. If your output variable is discrete, then only you go for
Yeah, because in the last, like Lahari said that, I mean, if we use this for some data, so it gives a different answer. So we won't use this for all the problems, right? I mean, we'll select only
obviously
for.
discrete output.
Yep.
Yes, that is what I'm telling you. If your output is discrete only, you go for logistic regression. This logistic regression is also called as classification algorithm. Whether you are classifying whether it is detecting with respect to error or no error. In this particular example, right? It is your error or no error. Yes or no. So if a person is spending 20 minutes, what is the probability of identifying error in the circuit? 20 minutes. It is 3.3%. 3.3%. So 24 minutes, it is 11%. If a person is spending 35 minutes,
82.
82.7%. Now tell me why it is useful in your real time for your manufacturing industry. Why it is useful? Think and tell me.
Because each person efficiency is different. Like as you said, one person might take less time and find more defects. So just in order to get the clarity, we have to go with this method.
Okay, apart from that.
With respect to Vijay's objective, we found out here like for 42 minutes, it was 97.9%. So the company can invest more on checking the inspecting time.
Yes, they can set up a time. Very important question. Who is this?
Ram.
Okay.
They can do
Yes.
the resource planning based on the efficiency.
Yes, they can do the resource planning. For example, simple example I'm going to take. For example, now Ram is there, and here let me put Debanshu, and let me put Sanjay here. So Debanshu and Sanjay comes to office at exactly at 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and they leave by 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. and Ram is coming at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. in the morning, and he leaves office by 7 p.m. By just seeing this data, who is more efficient? By just seeing this data. By seeing this, you feel that
and
Debanshu
Sanjay?
and Sanjay are very efficient because they come by 8:30 in the morning and they leave 8:30 p.m. in the night. So it means that they are spending approximately 12 hours in office. They are spending 50% of their life in office. And this person is coming 1.5 hours late and going 1.5 hours early than Debanshu and Sanjay. Now consider that Debanshu and Sanjay are identifying three errors in a day. 3 errors in a day, and Ram is identifying 7 errors in a day. So who is efficient more now?
No, Ram.
Why Ram?
Ram.
Why Ram?
Because the output is 7 and is 3.
Yes.
Efficiency.
So what? So what?
Its efficiency is more.
His efficiency is more. And see, if these people are Debanshu and Sanjay are spending 12 hours a day in office and they're able to identify 3 errors from morning to evening, or let me take just out of 12 hours, they are taking 3 hours break of lunch break, tea break, coffee break, snacks break, everything, and they are working only for 9 hours. If they are working only for 9 hours also, they are taking 3 circuits with respect to your identification of errors. Only 3 identification of errors have been done by them. So for one error, how much time they have taken? 3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours, right? So Ram is only staying at 8 hours in office and is taking some 1.5 to 2 hours break, and he is able to identify 7 errors or 6 errors, whatever it is. So these people are taking 3 hours for one circuit to identify, and this person is taking approximately around 50 minutes to identify error in the circuit. So if a person is spending more than 45 minutes, see here, for 42 minutes it is 97.9%. So let me keep it as for 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So the probability of identifying error in the circuit will be 99.9999%. So let it consider as 60 minutes. So what these people, Debanshu and Sanjay, are doing for remaining 2 hours?
They're
Got
not
my
more
point?
they're not more
They
productive
are
than
not
the
more
RAM.
productive. Yes, they are chit-chatting and they are wasting time. It is like that. So don't take it personally, Debanshu and Sanjay. I'm just giving an example. Okay. So you are just identifying 50 minutes. If they are spending, they should be able to identify 99.9% chance of identifying error in the circuit. But even though if they are spending 180 minutes, they are able to not identify only 1 or 2 errors in this time. So they are wasting their time. So being you working in a quality analyst team in a manufacturing unit or a manufacturing company, you can set up a time. You can set up a time saying that the probability, you should set up a time, minimum should be 50%, greater than 50% probability. So let me just choose this 64, right? See, 32 minutes. So you can set up a time that each and every employee should spend minimum 30 minutes to identify error in the circuit. 30 minutes is minimum, and maximum they should not spend more than 50 minutes. If they are spending maximum of 15 minutes, they should be able to identify error with respect to 99.99% probability. And if they are spending minimum 30 minutes, at least it will be 50%. So you can set up a time for your quality team saying that each and every employee should spend minimum 30 minutes and maximum of 50 minutes to identify error in the circuit. Clear?
Yeah.
Clear for everyone?
Yeah.
Yes. So this example deals with your simple logistic regression with one dependent variable and one independent variable. The same rule will apply for your multiple logistic regression. The same rule will apply for multiple logistic regression, but you'll not have only one input variable, you'll have multiple input variables. Then you'll be building this model. So in tomorrow's session, we'll go and implement multiple logistic regression case study. Multiple logistic regression case study in tomorrow's session. Okay, thank you all. And remember, logistic regression equation is similar to your multiple linear regression, whereas the beta coefficients vary. And apart from that, probability formula you should remember: P is equal to e raised to the power of y divided by 1 plus e raised to the power of y, where e is nothing but your real number constant, which values of e is equal to 2.7183. 2.7183. Okay, thank you all. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Thanks, Suresh.
Thank you.